Hi everybody, my name is Li Maen and I am a YMBA student. This is my final year. I'm currently a diploma student. Now, part of our Dhamma class, on our YMBA class, we have our Dhamma lessons. And every year we were introduced to Dhammapada Verse, which tells us the teachings of the Buddha and how is it applicable to our daily life. So all the Dhammapada verses are very, very meaningful, but there's one particular one that really sticks to me, and that is Dhammapada verse 21. So let me just share with you the Pali verse for this 21. It's Apamado Amatapadam, Pamado Machuno Padam, Apamata na miyanti, Ya Pamata Yata Mata. So that is the Pali version. Of course, when you translate to English, it basically means mindfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. The mindful do not spiritually die, but the heedless are like the dead already. Okay, so this is the English translation. So before I move on to why do I think that this verse is so meaningful, let me just share with you the story behind this verse. So once upon a time, we have this queen, okay? Her name is Sāmāvatī. So she was the chief queen of King Udana. So she was deeply devoted to the Buddha during that point of time, and she always practiced mindfulness, loving kindness, and patience sincerely. But at the same time, there's another queen. Her name is Mayandhiya. She hated Sāmāvatī. Why? Because she didn't like the Buddha, so that's why she also didn't like her. So she became very, very jealous of Sāmāvatī's devotion and her influence. So one fine day, out of hatred and out of revenge, she secretly plotted, against Sāmāvatī once. So what did she do? She arranged for the palace that Sāmāvatī is staying in. She set it on fire. So she wanted to set her and her attendants on fire. So as the fire spread, it's very clear to Sāmāvatī that she's not going to survive and her attendants were all going to die together with her. But because she has been practicing mindfulness all the time, so during her time of death, right, she remained very calm and mindful. In fact, right, she even encouraged her attendants to maintain loving kindness and mindfulness at their last moment. So as we know, at the end, right, they all passed away peacefully, despite being burned to death. And they actually had a very fortunate rebirth after that. So the monks discussed about this, and then the Buddha explained at that point of time that although physical death cannot be avoided, those who live mindfully are spiritually awake and truly alive. And that's why he uttered the Dhammapada verse. Yeah. So why does this verse stick to me so much? Because when I first started YMBA class, so we know that mindfulness is very important. So right at the start, I actually attended meditation class. So my first meditation class is Bhante Raja. So Bhante Raja told us and taught us that besides sitting here for an hour on every Thursday, we should be very mindful of our actions, our speech as well. So that's what mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness means you are being aware of every word that we say, for every action that we do, and every thought that we have. So it's actually quite easy to sit here for an hour and be mindful. Of course, we will wonder. But the challenging part that Bhante Raja requires us to do is to be mindful at all times. Meaning that we have to be mindful even if we walk out of the room, we go get a cup of water, we have to be mindful that we are walking there to get a cup of water. We are mindful that at this point of time, I'm talking to Bhante Raja. And that's the challenging part. Because it, to me, feels very, very tiring. Now I can no longer walk to somewhere but think of something else. I can no longer walk to the MRT and listen to music at the same time. So to me, right, I'm a person who likes to do multitasking. But right now, I can only do one thing at a time. So I feel personally that it was a little bit time-consuming and very tiring to just focus on one thing at a time. But now looking back, right, I can see the wisdom. And subsequently, I also attended meditation class with Bhante Chakrapala, with Bhante Sunita. And all of the Bhantes taught the same thing, both Vipassana meditation and Metta meditation. And all of them teach us mindfulness. As I move along, I actually find it very, very useful. Why? Despite it seemingly very time-consuming, but I realized that it actually helps me with a little bit of my anger management. So being a parent, so whenever I go home and I see dirty dishes in the sink, I see clothes on the floor, I see laundry not done, the anger arises in me. But if you observe and if you are mindful that the anger is arising in you, strangely, you will not be that angry as you used to be. And you start to think of, okay, this is not right. The kids did not do what they're supposed to do, but what should I tell them? Because if I go my own way, I will be nagging at them, nothing gets done anyway, the whole thing will get over and over again. So that's one thing I learned, how to handle anger when I'm being mindful of my thoughts and my speech. So we all know that mindfulness is important because it trains us, but knowing and doing is another thing. Now that we know, I think it's important for us to practice on a daily basis. And that is why Dhammapada Verse 21 is so important and it sticks to me so much. Because it reminds me constantly that being mindful isn't just about a day or a month, it's about constantly repeating the action and we will see the benefits of it. To round up, let me just recap what is this Dhammapada Verse 21 that I was talking about. So the Pali verse is Amapado Amata Padam. Pamado machuno padam. Apamata na miyanti. Ya pamata yata mata. And the English version is, mindfulness is the path to deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. The mindful do not spiritually die, but the heedless are like the dead already. And with that, thank you and have happy Vesak Day.